Ahead of the 1998 NFL Draft, every football fan had their own answer to the great debate: Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf. But only the Indianapolis Colts, who held the number one overall pick, could truly provide an answer. Would they select Manning, the All American and Tennessee Volunteers standout? Or would the quarterback needy franchise instead turn its eyes to Leaf, the Washington State Cougar star and the reigning Pac 10 Offensive Player of the Year? But legendary San Francisco 49ers head coach Bill Walsh had another idea, and it involved Michigan quarterback Brian Griese. Before staying in 1998, we need to jump forward about 15 years. Sports Illustrated named Manning, then with the Denver Broncos, its 2013 Sportsman of the Year after he set single season records for passing yards and passing touchdowns. Now, by that point, Leaf was long out of the NFL and Griese was in television. But in 2013, SI's Peter King recalled meeting with several high-profile football figures, including Walsh, in 1998. The goal was to see who these figures would take with the number one overall pick, Manning or Leaf. According to King, Walsh certainly had a bold response. King wrote, quote, "After we watched tape in Northern California, he," referring to Walsh, "thought for a few minutes and told me he favored Manning, but said if it were his pick, he'd take a different position player with the first choice, then snag Michigan quarterback Brian Griese in the second round." Now, had the Colts listened to Walsh, they likely would have selected Florida State defensive end Andre Wadsworth, the third overall pick, or Michigan cornerback Charles Woodson, the fourth overall pick. At the time, no cornerback had ever been drafted number one overall, and only three defensive ends: Texas Kenneth Sims in 1982, Virginia Tech's Bruce Smith in 1985, and Washington's Steve Entman in 1992 had been selected atop the draft. Wadsworth totaled 8 sacks in 3 years with the Arizona Cardinals before knee problems effectively ended his career after the 2000 season. Woodson, on the other hand, entered the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2021 after a dominant career with the Oakland Raiders and Green Bay Packers. And as for Griese, the Broncos selected him 91st overall, and he spent his rookie season sitting behind John Elway, who later brought Manning to Denver in 2012. It's like poetry, sort of, it rhymes. Now, we know how great Manning was, and Leaf's dismal career remains a cautionary tale each draft cycle. But let's not forget Griese completed 62.7% of his passes for 19,440 yards, 119 passing touchdowns, and 99 interceptions across 11 NFL seasons for 4 different teams. He made the Pro Bowl in 2000, his second season as the Broncos starter, and went 45-38 as a starter in the NFL. Although the idea of the Colts passing on Manning or Leaf for a defensive player sounds ridiculous in hindsight, it's still a fascinating what-if to consider. Would the Chargers have selected Manning second overall? And if they did, how far would Leaf have fallen? Might we have seen Leaf suit up for the Chicago Bears or even the Raiders? And what would have happened to Griese if the Colts drafted him? Would he and Marvin Harrison have instantly formed an elite quarterback-receiver duo? How long would Griese's leash be, especially if he started most of the 1998 season and didn't instantly impress? Would the Colts have been tempted to trade up for Syracuse's Donovan McNabb in 1999? Or might they even have made a play for Marshall's Chad Pennington in 2000? Griese's absence in Denver also would have meant the Broncos would have needed a new successor for Elway. Matt Hasselbeck, anyone? The Green Bay Packers selected Hasselbeck in the 1998 draft 6th round, and it's not impossible to think desperation could have instead netted the Boston College product a spot with the Broncos. All it takes is one action, big or small, to send immense echoes across the sports landscape. And here on Legacy Library, these are the chapters in sports we love exploring. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe, and make sure to stay tuned for more.